to be here and moving with you. I hope you are well. Let's start on our sides. So we're going to start with a bolster underneath our rib cage. I'm going to use a thin yoga block with a rolled up mat on top of it. You could just use a yoga block. You could just use a bolster, a couple towels stacked up so that they fit under your rib cage, below your armpit, above your waist, and then just lay your side right over the side of your rib cage, right over. You'll know it's too high if your head doesn't easily come down. You can also use a towel or a pillow underneath your head. And then just feel, are you rolling forward? Are you rolling backwards? Try to find the center of your rib cage, extend your legs nice and long, and then reach your top arm up and over. Now, if your arm doesn't reach the floor, of course, you can take a few breaths with your arms in the air, but you could also stick something, a block or any tool that you have underneath your top hand. And let's go right into feeling our breath, tuning into our breath, becoming aware of our breath into the side of the ribs. If there's a purpose that you would like to set for your practice, what do you want to be more aware of in your life over this next week? Remind yourself of that now. And then lift your top arm into the air a little bit, and without rolling your body back and forth, just reach your top arm forward a little and back a little. Forward a little and back a little. A little goes a long way. Forward a little and back a little. Forward a little and back a little. And then bring that hand down to the block. And then from here, lift your top leg a little and bring your leg forward. And then from there, if it feels like your hips are going to start rolling forward and back, you can bring your hand down to help stabilize yourself and move your top leg back behind. And forward, straight leg, and back behind. And forward, and behind, and forward, and behind. And then stack your legs, use your hand in front of you to press yourself up, and you can either roll around and not face me and just listen to my words, or spin all the way around like I do. Set up whatever you're using as your bolster underneath your rib cage, below your armpit, above your waist. Extend your legs nice and long. Make sure your head's not just hanging in the air. You can rest it down comfortably. If you need a prop for underneath your hand, grab whatever you're using and then take your top arm up and over, either to the floor or to something underneath your hand. And sometimes I'll do this and I'll put a block under my hand at varying heights, sometimes the highest height, sometimes the middle height, sometimes the lowest height. So we're not always working to go to end range of motion. We want to do many ranges of motion. End range of motion doesn't mean that you're healthy in this range of motion, in this range of motion, in this range of motion. It just means that you're able to go to this range of motion. So we don't want to think ever that end range of motion is the goal. Breathing here. Notice if your body feels like it's rolling slightly forward or slightly back. Try to come to the center of your rib cage, the center of your hips. Tuning into your breath along the side of your rib cage. And then lift that top arm up about the height of your shoulder and sweep it forward a little and back a little. Forward a little and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Good. Bring that arm down to the floor or use it in front of you to steady yourself. Lift your top leg a little bit and take it back. and forward without the hips rolling forward and back. Hips stay stacked. Leg goes back a little. Straight leg goes forward. Keep lengthening the leg as it goes back and forward and back and forward. And let's go back one more time. And then stack your legs, use that hand to press yourself up, and we're gonna come onto our backs. I'm gonna put a dome, a half foam roller dome underneath my head. You can put a rolled up towel, you can put a block, whatever helps you to not let your head lean back and your chin pop it up into the air. So when you're lying on your back and we don't bolster ourselves, there's a tendency for the head to start leaning back and the chin going up. Also, having something under your head prevents rib thrust. If the back of your ribs tend to lift up off the floor, it helps you to relax them down. If you still find with your head lifted that your ribs don't stay relaxed down, then maybe put a little lift of something underneath your shoulder blades, your very upper back as well. And then from here, bend your knees, open your feet wider than your mat, I would say, with the outer edges of your feet starting out straight, and then roll your thighs to the right. And pause there, and then lift your legs up and roll your wide legs over to the left and pause there. And then just continue with that pattern, making sure you take time for the pause. And breathing. So that you can feel from your ankles to your knees, from your knees to your hips, all the way around your thighs. Do you clench any areas in particular? Try to let go of clenching. And let's do one more each side. Maybe pausing a little bit longer on this one. And then go to the other side. And pause for a little bit longer. And then bring your legs up and walk your feet into hip distance apart. Hip distance is those two bones that stick out the top front of your pelvis. And then extend your left leg long as your right knee comes in. And with your right knee in, you're going to roll it in so far that your pelvis tucks under and your waist flattens on the floor. And then you're going to let the knee come away from you until you feel your tailbone come down and the natural lift below your waist come up, but without lifting your ribs up. So ribs stay relaxed down, but there is a slight lift behind your waist. Curl in, the waist flattens. Thigh moves away from you a little bit. You feel the waist subtly lift up. Curl in, the waist flattens, and thigh moves away, subtle waist lift. Curl in and go away from you. So we're going to work with our waist not flattened to the floor, but the subtle lift where your hip is down, but maybe your thigh bone comes in a little closer, and then you can let go of your thigh and open that thigh out to the side and bring it slightly across your body without your buttocks really lifting up much. You're taking it over to the left and slightly open to the right, and then take it across and slightly open and take it across and slightly open and take it across. And then from here, we'll make a circle. So we'll curl it in, out to the side, down in front, and across. And do one more like that. Take your time, go slow, and then pause and circle in the other direction. And you're trying to go slow so you can feel all these different ranges of motion. One more circle in the other direction. And then switch legs. Extend that right leg long, bend the left knee in, and we'll go from letting the waist flatten to feeling the subtle waist lift of the waist without the ribs coming up. And curl in, tailbone might lift up off the floor a little bit, back of the thigh might lift up. And then when you untuck your pelvis into neutral, the back of the thigh comes down, tailbone comes down. And curl in and release and curl in and release. Now keep the pelvis in neutral when the front of the pelvis is flat, curling that thigh in a little bit without the waist flattening, and open your thigh to the side and take it slightly across the body. And open and across and open and across, open and across. Let's do one more. Take your time. Open and across. Now start to circle that knee around, drawing a complete circle. So putting all of those things together in a smooth way, and then pause and circle a couple times in the other direction. Try to go even a little bit slower. And then place that foot down on the floor, bend your other knee. So we're going to do the pose where the soles of your feet come together and your knees open to the side. You have choices though. One choice is to just do it like this with the soles of your feet together. Another is you could put the block on the thinnest height between your 2 feet, or the thinnest width, excuse me. Another choice is you could put it on the next width between your feet, and another is you could turn it on the widest width and put it between your feet. Your choice. I'm going to just go with the widest width today, but we're just going to do one. So I'm going to pick up my feet, stick the block between my feet on the widest width, and then put the block down. And you're pressing your feet, whatever width you choose, you're pressing your feet into the block or whatever you're using as a block and letting your thighs drop open here. Now, sometimes I'll just let my legs go into the air, but if it feels uncomfortable, if you carry a lot of tension in this area and your legs are in the air, you would definitely want to stick a little something. I have 2 rolls up towels under each of your thighs. But also, if you're someone that your thighs really easily open towards the floor, your body might have a habit of bypassing some of your muscle use and just pulling on your connective tissue. And so for you, also bolstering is for a different reason. It helps you to not go so deep and reconnect the nerves to the muscles in the area. So sometimes it's really good to use these bolsters. So choosing whatever width you want on the block, bolstering if you'd like to, and then from here, bring your arms into the air, turn the palms of your hands to face behind you, pinky fingers touch, low chest height, thumbs spread out to the side, open your thumbs to the floor. Feel how when your thumbs come down to the floor and you keep that rotation, your elbows are slightly lifted off the floor, and then bring your pinky fingers back together. And thumbs open, tune in and relax around the thighs, and bring the pinky fingers back together. And thumbs open, and pinky fingers together, and thumbs open, pinky fingers together. Okay, this time as your thumbs come down to the floor, if this rotation bothers you for any reason, just go to flat hands, back of the hands on the floor, but otherwise turn your thumbs to the floor, keep your elbows lifted, and just sweep your thumbs hovering over the floor up and down by your side, like you're drawing a snow angel. And as you go up and down, check, do you still feel that your pelvis is in neutral? The front of your pelvis is flat, so you have that very subtle lift behind your waist, but at the same time, your ribs aren't lifting up the floor, off the floor. From the top of your waist, your rib cage is relaxed down, especially as your arms go higher by your sides. And breathing here, feel as though you're reaching out through your upper arms to spread both your upper back and your chest wide at the same time. And let's do a few more of these. Check in, actively press your feet together or into the block. Relax your thighs all the way around. And then release your arms, lift your legs up. You can take whatever bolsters you are using out. You can pick up your block and place it by your side. Grab whatever you're using for your strap. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Wrap the strap around the back of your left thigh. Having the strap, even though I know some of you can reach for your leg, makes it nice because then you can really work on pushing your tailbone towards the floor as you draw your thigh bones in, and at the same time relaxing your shoulders. Feeling into your hips here. You can stay steady. If it feels good today, you can do a little rock side to side, rolling from one side of your buttocks to the other. Take your time. Feel how your lower back feels. And then pause center for a moment. See if you can pull your thighs in a little closer without your tailbone coming up, without flattening your waist to the floor. So learning to move at the hip joint instead of at the spine. And then let's switch legs. Actually, before we switch legs, let's do one more thing. So with your right ankle crossed over, keep the shape of your legs and just roll the sole of your right foot towards the floor. If it doesn't reach, you can take a block and stick a block underneath your foot at any height. And then breathing here. You can let that right knee roll in towards you. You can open a little bit up towards the ceiling. Ribs softening down into the body. And then if you rolled over to your left, push down through your left elbow as to lift your legs up so you don't yank on those muscles that we were just releasing. And then set your legs up hip distance apart with the outer edges of your feet straight. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Wrap the strap around the back of your right thigh. At first, just work on getting that tailbone to go down as your thighs come in a little bit. And it's a patient process because especially in modern culture, we have strong habits. A lot of people have strong habits of moving from their spine rather than their hips. So it might barely feel like your thighs can come in at first. And then you can stay here or you can roll a little bit side to side across your sacrum area. Tuning into your breath. Are you thrusting your ribs? Relax them down. Just notice if they slightly tend to start pushing forward. And then find your center and stay there for a moment. And then release the strap. Keep this shape of your legs with your ankle over your knee. You can roll the sole of your foot to the floor if it doesn't want to come down with ease. Stick a block under there, any height. And then that thigh can drop in a little bit or open towards the ceiling a little. Find what feels all right for your body. Never hesitate to feel into the area, to move the tissues around a little bit with your hand. And then if you roll to the right, use your right elbow pushing down to roll yourself back up. And then from there, center your hips, extend your right leg long, bring your left leg into the air, put your left hand on your left rib cage, your right hand can go across, and we're just gonna roll, keeping your left rib cage down, roll your right hip and waist up a little bit, and then come back. And we'll do that a few more times dynamically. So going in and out, roll a little bit to the right and unwind. Roll a little bit to the right without the ribs lifting up and unwind. And roll a little bit to the right and unwind. And now this time as you roll, you're not going to keep your ribs down. You're going to keep on going with your whole body until your knee and your foot come down towards the floor. And then once your knee and foot comes down to the floor, reach your left arm into the air with your palm face forward, and you're going to reach your arm overhead, maybe try to touch the thumb to the floor, and then bring the hand back down by your side. And up and over, thumb to the floor, and arm into the air, up and over, and arm in the air, and up and over, and arm in the air. Now it's okay if the thumb doesn't come to the floor and if it just hovers, but without letting your foot and your knee come up off the floor. So you rolled your spine all the way over. You're going to see how much you can twist your rib cage and drag that thumb behind you, keeping it on the floor, and then drag it back overhead. So let's do that a few more times. Roll the spine open. A little bit goes a long way. And rotate back. And roll the spine open without the knee or the foot coming up. And slide the thumb back. And one more time. Roll open nice and gently. And slide back. And then lift that arm up. Press down through your right elbow to unwind your spine. Come back to center. Bend your right knee. Extend your left leg. Bring your right leg into the air. Right hand to your right rib cage, left hand reaches across to the knee, and you're rolling your waist and hip over, but without the ribs coming up. So it's a little motion, and unwind. And roll, twisting, and unwind. Relax that bottom long leg, twist across a little bit, and unwind, and twist across a little bit, and unwind. And now this time twist across, but let the ribs lift up, go all the way over, adjusting your head pillow until your knee and your foot comes down to the floor. And then reach that right arm into the air, palm faces the direction you're facing, and touch that thumb overhead, maybe to the floor, and then bring the hand back down by your side. Arm goes up and over. And arm comes back down, like you're drawing a rainbow or half circle with your arm. One more like that. Thumb comes up overhead and back down. And then go overhead. And it's okay if your thumb doesn't reach the floor. You might just hover over, but you're keeping your knee and your foot stable as you roll your torso open a little. If your thumb does touch the floor, keep it touching as you drag it back. And back overhead. Thumb circles around behind you a little bit and goes back overhead. Let's do that 2 more times at your own pace. And then next time you come overhead, bring that arm back down, push down through your left elbow to unwind, come back onto your back, and then center your hips, keep your tailbone tilting to the floor by drawing your thigh bones down into your pelvis, and then you're just going to extend your right leg as straight as you can into the air with a flexed ankle, and slowly bend that knee down. And then extend your left leg into the air as straight as you can without force, keeping your ankle, knee, and hips stacked, and bend down. And right leg extends up and bend, and left leg extends up and bend, right leg and bend, left leg and bend, and then right leg and hold, point and flex your ankle, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, hold. Try to spread all your toes away from each other. And then how about with your toes spreading apart, you try to point and flex with your toes spreading away from each other. Keep lengthening up through the leg. Take your time, no rush. And switch legs. Extend your left leg up into the air. Flex your ankle. Try to spread your toes as far apart from each other as you can. Now try to keep that spreading action as you point. Oh, actually, we're just going to point and flex first. Sorry, without spreading our toes. Point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex, point and flex. Now try to spread your toes open. Keep lengthening up through that leg and point and flex. Breathing. And one more. Good. And then bend that knee. Give your knees a little hug into your chest, keeping them hip distance apart. You can rock a little bit side to side across your lower back. And then from there, either roll to one side to press yourself up or rock yourself up and come around onto your knees. From your knees, you're going to tuck your toes under as much as you comfortably can, trying to almost get to the balls of your feet. If it's not comfortable to sit back on your heels, then you can always stand up on your knees here. From here, if your toes don't tuck under very much, by putting something, a bolster under your knees, and giving your knees a little bit more height, it will allow you to tuck under maybe a little bit more. So that's a nice thing to do once in a while. But from here, you're going to, first I'll show you from the side actually. You're going to, with your knees and ankles hip distance apart, heels pointing straight up, you're going to keep your ribs relaxed down, ramp your head back over your shoulders, and then drop your chin down to your chest. So your head's not going to drop too far down because at the same time that you're letting your head hang, you're ramping it back. So you're sliding your ears back like they're going to your shoulders while your head is dropping down. Okay, so from this position, again, you can always stand up on your knees instead of sitting back on your heels if it becomes too intense for your feet. Remember, the body likes slow adaptation. And you're going to have to listen to my words because you're doing the head hang. Bring your arms in front of you, palms face up, chest tight, and open your arms to the sides and bring your pinky fingers back together. Arms open, pinky fingers come back together. Arms open, pinky fingers come back together, head is hanging, arms open, pinky fingers come back together. Now open your arms to the side, turn your palms to face forward. Your arms are out to the side like a T. Keep dropping the head down, bend your elbows like cactus arms, and then extend your arms to the side. Bend and extend. Bend and extend. Bend and extend. Now bend your arm into cactus arms, hold, check, head dropping down, but also ramping back slightly. Lift those arms up into the air. Rebend your arms into cactus arms. Lift up nice and slowly and rebend. Two more like that. Lift up nice and slowly and rebend. Lift up nice and slowly and rebend. And then extend your arms out, lower your hands down, lift your head up nice and slowly. Good job. Come off of your toes, tucked under. Come onto all fours, hands and knees. Knees hip distance apart, which is those two bones that stick out the top front of your hips, your knees in the center. Hands a little bit wider than your knees to be shoulder distance. Spread your thumbs towards each other. Wrap your elbow pits, the soft front part of your elbow forward. Relax your belly so your tailbone can lift into the air, and then we'll do some rhomboid push-ups where your spine relaxes down between your two straight arms. It's tempting if the spine doesn't go down with gravity much to bend your elbows, but just try to relax, try not to bend, and then lift up through your breastbone and through your armpits and feel your upper back get wide without tucking your tailbone under. So tailbone stays relaxed in the air. And we'll go up and down a few times. If you've been doing these a while with me, keep wrapping your elbow pits forward. Keep breathing. Relax your lower belly. And then feel when you lift up into your next rhomboid push-up, that's when your spine is in neutral. When your rib cage is lifted, your upper back is nice and wide, but at the same time, you've got a nice curve in your lower back where your waist is, and your pelvis is in neutral. The front of your pelvis is flat. This is where we want to work when we're on all fours, doing other moves, when we're moving into plank poses. Let's pause here for a moment. You can tuck your toes under if you'd like to. Sit your hips all the way back. Reach forward, cross your right arm over your left arm, and walk your fingers away from each other a little bit. Take a breath here. And then switch the crossing of your arms. Slide your hands in a little, cross your left arm over the right, spread out through the palms of your hands. Gently push your hands into the mat. Good. Let's come back onto all fours. So bottom of the feet can be tucked under, or you can push down a little bit through the top of the foot, relax the belly, come up into the top of a rhomboid push-up. Now try to hold the top of a rhomboid push-up, breastbone lifting, armpits lifting, back of the head lifting, as you tuck and untuck your pelvis. So just see how you can move your ribs and your pelvis separate from each other. Your belly hugs in when you tuck, you relax your belly when you untuck. And interestingly enough, when your ribs are up and your pelvis is in neutral, you're using more of your deeper core muscles. When you hug your belly in and your lower back rounds, you're using more of your surface layer core muscles. So both are good motions, but we tend to work a lot with our belly hugging in and our tailbone tucked under. So we're going to work more to relax our lower belly and instead think of our core strength as coming from not collapsing in our ribs, of keeping our ribs lifted up. Take a couple more tilts here. Good. And then from there, you can go ahead and come up onto your knees and step your right foot forward into a lunge. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, pelvis in neutral, so the pubic bone is right under the ASIS bones. You can go in a little. Now the first thing we're going to do is, with our ribs relaxed down, we're just going to do some of those head ramps where we let our head go forward. And the main purpose of the exercise is to slide our ears back over our shoulders, but without leaning our head back. So our chin stays pretty parallel to the floor. Our head goes forward a little, and we also slide back without lifting our ribs up at all. Our breastbone stays in vertical, our ribs stay relaxed down. Do that a couple more times. All right, now you're going to change the position of your back leg to change the angle of the lunge. Take that back leg a little bit out to your left. So if your right leg is forward, your left leg is back. If this bothers your knee at all, you don't want any discomfort under your knee, number one, pad your knee with a towel or a pillow, but also you might have to get down and kind of hop your knee up and find the position where it doesn't bother your knee to have your knee in this angle. And then from here, with your knee out to the side, bring your left hand forward, palm face up, shoulder, elbow, wrist in line. Pull your pinky finger down, and then let your wrist turn down. Palm comes back up, ring finger down, palm of the hand down. Come back up, middle finger down, palm of the hand down, and pointer finger down gently, palm of the hand down. Pull your thumb out to the side a little bit, turn the palm of the hand down, and then bring that hand up. Now turn that leg back to center and walk it a little bit over. And again, you might have to readjust your knee as you walk the leg across. Turn your hips back to center. And now we're going to do that same hand, but we're going to do the back of the hand. So bend your elbow, turn your wrist down, pull your pinky finger towards your forearm, and then pull your ring finger towards your forearm. And middle finger towards your forearm, gentle. These are small hand muscles. Pointer finger, often the tightest one, towards your forearm. And then thumb gently pulls down towards your forearm. And then release, slowly bring that leg back to center and switch legs. Step your right leg back, step your left leg forward, outer edge of the foot straight. Start with your back ankle right behind your knee. Pelvis goes forward, keeping the pelvis in neutral, vertical line. And then let's do a few head ramps to start. Relax your ribs down. Head slides forward and ears go back over the shoulders. And it might be a really small motion, especially if you have a shorter neck, and that's okay. Breathing. Do one more of those, and then keep your head gently ramping back. Take that back foot and hop it a little bit over to the right. A little bit goes a long way. You're just twisting your thigh bone as you moved your foot over. And then bring the palm of your right hand forward, palm up, pull your pinky finger gently down, then the palm of your hand down. Palm comes up, middle finger, ring finger. I said did the same thing on the other side. And hand goes down. And you know I've done this over a decade. How many times? Thousands of times. Middle finger and palm of the hand down. The brain is a funny thing. And pointer finger down, palm of the hand down. And thumb goes out to the side and pulls down a little, and then turn the palm of the hand down. Excellent. Palm of the hand releases, and bring your foot slowly back to center. Hop it a little bit in the other direction. Please make adjustments so you don't feel any discomfort at all on your knee joint. And then bring that same right hand up, elbow bent, wrist turns down. I consider this like a dinosaur arm. Pull your pinky finger down towards your forearm. Gently go over to your next finger. Your ring finger pulls down and back. And then your middle finger pulls down and back. And then your pointer finger pulls down and back. And then your thumb pulls down and back. Good. Release your hand. Bring your leg back to center. Tuck. Actually, you're going to come back. Bring that knee back behind you. And then from your knees, you're going to stand up on your knees and we're going to be on all fours. Spread your thumbs out, knees hip distance apart. You're going to lift your left knee off the floor. Elbow pits wrap forward, top of a rhomboid push-up. Lift your left knee up off the floor. And you're going to go from hugging your knee in a little bit to lifting that bent knee up into the air. Hugging the knee in a little bit without rounding the spine. Keep the spine relaxed and lifting the bent knee into the air. Hugging in a little and lift up. Hugging in a little and lift up. Now you can see why we did that hand work. Now from here, let your knee come down, hovering over the floor. Open it out to the side a little. Try to tap your other knee. Open to the side a little. And tap your knee. Open out and tap. Open out and tap. Now let's put those together. It goes forward a little, out, back, and in. You're drawing a smooth circle. Forward, out, back, and in. Go the other direction. Back, out, forward, and in. Back, out, forward, and in. Very good. Put that knee down. You can tuck your toes under or not. Sit your hips back. We're going to bring the backs of our hands towards the floor, but we're going to do it piece by piece. How about trying to just put your fingernails on the floor? Try to put your 8 fingernails on the floor. Tricky to see if they bend that way. And then how about putting your 8 fingers on the floor without putting the back of your hands down on the floor? Put your 8 fingers down. Check your ankles. Do they tend to roll to one side or the other like mine were? And then go ahead and try to put the whole back of your hand on the floor. Breathing. And then let's do side 2. So come on up, thumbs spread out towards each other, hands a little bit wider than your hips. Push down through your outer left hip and top of the foot. Lift your right knee into the air. Curl it in a little. Bring that bent knee up into the air. As the knee goes up, try to make sure your ribs don't thrust down. Keep the rhomboid push-up work. Knee curls in a little. Lift into the air. Knee curls in a little. Lift into the air. Knee curls in a little. Lift into the air. Let the knee hang down, just hovering over the floor. Lift it out to the right and try to tap your left thigh. That's right under your left hip. Lift it out to the side and tap. Lift it out to the side and tap. Elbow pits wrapping forward. Lift it out to the side and tap. Then bring your knee to center. We'll go around 2 times in each direction. Knee comes in, out to the side, back behind, in. Forward, out to the side, back behind, and in. Switch directions of the circle. From there, back behind, out to the side, forward, and in. Back behind, out to the side, forward, and in. Excellent. Put that knee down, stand up on your knees, step your right foot forward, bring your hands down inside your right leg, tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee, and then walk halfway around to the left. Parallel your feet, back your weight up into your heels, come all the way up to stand, and then from here, you're going to shift your hips from right to left. Outer edges of feet straight, weight back in the heels as you shift your hips with 2 straight legs, going from one side and then to the other side. Breathing. And now pause your hips, keep them centered, open your arms out to the side. How about sliding your ribs from one side to the other without the hips going anywhere? Front ribs relax down. Breathing. All right, from here, sit back into a wide squat. When we're bending, we're paying attention that our feet are straight, trying to slide our hips back so our knees don't go past our ankles, and watching if our thighs collapse in at all, opening the inner thighs. Press into the heels, bend down, press into the sole of the foot to come up. I meant weight in the heels. Sit back. Press to come up. Sit back. Now sitting back, push your thigh bones back, straighten your legs. You're in a half forward fold. And now with 2 straight legs, shift your hips from side to side here. Backing your weight up into your heels. Breathing. And then come to center. From here, come up with your torso. Bend your arms like cactus arms. And now lift your ribs up, thrust your ribs forward. From the side, it looks like this. And then you're going to drop your ribs down and back. So lift your ribs up, thrust them forward. Then really drop your ribs down and back. Now keep your ribs down and back as you squat back. Press up, lift and thrust your ribs. Drop your ribs down and back. And sit back into a squat. Lift, straighten your legs, lift your ribs up, curl your ribs down and back, keep them down as you sit back into a squat. Let's do that one more time. Come up, lift your ribs up, drop the ribs down and back, sit back into a squat, and then from there, bring your hands down to the floor and walk around back to your right foot. Put your left knee down, slide your right knee back to meet your left knee, knees hip distance, thumbs spread out, hands back up behind your shoulders or under your chest, elbow pits wrap forward. Find the top of a rhomboid push-up. Your head ramps up a little, belly relaxed. Now extend your left leg straight back behind you. And we're going to curl it in twice, rounding our spine once, and extend. And again, curl it in, rounding your spine, and extend. Now you're going to try to keep a neutral spine with your ribs up without rounding your spine, and see how much you can curl your knee in and extend, and curl your knee in and extend. Good. Let's switch sides. Put that knee down. Check that your knees are hip distance apart. Sometimes they'll creep in closer. Top of the rhomboid push-up, elbow pits wrap forward. Extend your right leg back. Curl in, first round, 2 rounds, round your spine, extend straight back, round your spine, extend straight back. Now get top of the rhomboid push-up. Try not to round your spine as you curl your leg in and extend. Curl your knee in and extend. Excellent. Put that knee down, stand up on your knees. You're going to now step your left foot forward. I'm just going to spin around. Bring your hands down inside your left foot. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your right knee up. And then walk halfway around to the right and parallel your feet. Come all the way up to stand. Shift your hips from side to side. Breathing. Now pause, reach your arms out to the side, relax your ribs down, shift your ribs from side to side. Now pause, take a squat. We're paying attention to our knees not going forward, thighs not collapsing in. And press up, make sure your feet are lined up. Sit back and press up. All right, from here, cactus arms, lift your ribs up, drop them down and back, sit back into a squat, and press up. Lift your ribs up, drop them back down, sit back into a squat, keeping the ribs down but still working on the legs, going back, thighs opening. Straighten the legs. Take your hands out to your side, rotate so your palms face behind you. Interlace your fingers behind your back, right pinky finger on the back. Hinge forward halfway from your hips. Lift your arms any amount off your back. Put a little bend in your elbows if you tend to really straighten your elbows out. And then from here, shift your hips to the right and hold. Shift your hips to the left and hold, backing your thigh bones up. Come back to center, come up to stand, switch the crossing of your fingers behind your back. Hinge forward by rotating your pelvis, lift your arms any amount off your back. Shift your hips to the left and hold, backing your hips up. Shifting your hips to the right and hold, breathing. Bring your hips back to center, bring your hands to your back, bring your hands down to the mat, knees can bend, walk back around to your left foot at the front of the mat. Lower your right knee down, slide your left leg back to meet it. Set up your hands, thumbs spread out, back under the shoulders or under the chest if it's okay on the wrist. Wrap the elbow pits forward. From here, step your feet back into a plank pose, hip distance apart, and then go up and back into a downward dog. Now, if your spine rounds in your down dog, for today, put a big bend in your knees. Get your tailbone high into the air so you can create those natural curves of your spine, and then see how much you can straighten your legs by keeping that natural curvature going. Breathing here. And then let's step our feet as wide as the mat with the outer edges of the feet straight. Push the thigh bones back. It's okay to have a bend in your knees here. Pressing your hips back and breathing. And then how about bringing your feet all the way together, big toes touching as you push your hips back. All right, come back to hip distance apart, shift forward into a plank pose, finding that neutral spine, top of a rhomboid push-up, natural curve in the lower back, back of the head ramps up. You can always put your knees down here without rounding your spine. Curl your right knee in and extend. Curl your right leg in and extend. Put that foot down, lift your left foot up, curl in, wrapping your elbow pits, and extend. Curl in and extend. Put that foot down. Go back into a downward dog. Step your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Slowly walk your hands back towards your feet, keeping your hands shoulder distance apart. Once your heels come down, back your weight up into your heels. Let your head drop down and slowly roll your spine up, one bone at a time. Your head and neck is the last thing to come up. All right, so you might want a wall space or a chair. You'll definitely want a wall space or a chair for what we're doing next. From here, we're going to do a calf stretch first, which we haven't done yet. So you can use a dome, you can use a rolled up towel, you can use a thin yoga block. Put it under the ball of your right foot, outer edges of feet straight, and step your left foot forward a little bit. Take a breath here. If you feel that you bend forward or your legs clench up, then don't step your left foot forward. Just a calf stretch today, nothing else to add to it, which is nice sometimes because then you can really focus in on how your ankle feels, how the back of your lower leg feels. If you're bending your knee at all, you're straightening your leg all the way. All right, let's switch feet. calf stretch. Ball of the foot up, heel down. Maybe the right foot steps forward a little bit. Maybe it steps forward a lot, depending on how you're feeling today, how much your muscles can relax in it. Breathing. Notice as your knees slightly bending, straighten the leg all the way. Okay, let's go to a top of the foot stretch. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Push down through one side, tuck the top of the foot behind you, top of the foot stretch. Now, not only is the outer edge of our feet straight and our ankles hip distance, our standing leg, we're trying to keep the weight back in the heel. We can push through the front of the foot, but we don't want the weight of the body over the front of the foot. It also disengages some of the muscles in the back of the leg that we want to use for balancing. So back up, push down through that hip, and how about just lifting and tapping your back foot? But notice if when you do that, if your standing leg goes forward, use a chair to push yourself back and maintain that stability as you go up and down. All right, let's switch. Feet straight. I'm going to be a little closer to the chair this time. Ankles hip distance apart, push down through the opposite leg, tuck the top of the back foot back, hold there for a moment, check where your weight is with your leg. Does your hip pop out to the side? Hug it in, weight back into the heels, breathing. And then push down through that hip, keep the thigh bone back as you lift and tap the toes down. Definitely harder for me on this side to keep my thigh bone back. Okay, let's do a double calf stretch. You'll want something, a thick towel. Let's fold it in half and rolled up. Usually is hip distance apart. An extra rolled up mat if you have one works great. A couple blocks that are the same height. A couple books that are the same height. Put the balls of your feet up. A couple domes that are the same height. Push your hips back. 2 straight legs. Great time to practice knee relax and rotating your thigh bones into neutral if that's part of your practice. If you're new to the site, that stuff is coming, but you really want to work on feet straight, ankles hip distance, and weight back in your heels first. You can even work on neutral pelvis here. Is your pelvis tucked under? Then the pelvis is no longer neutral. Back the thigh bones up, let the belly relax. Pigeon toe the feet for a moment. Turn the toes in, the heels out, and push your hips back. And then switch. Turn your toes out a little bit, heels in, and push your hips back. All right, bring your feet back to straight, outer edges of straight. Push your hips back one more time. And then come up and slide that prop out of the way if it might be in your way. And now we're going to put it all together. Now please go slow, listen to your body. If it's really challenging for you to keep your alignment points, it's telling you humbly that your body's not ready. And also, this is not something that you do if you're having a joint issue already. If you're having discomfort in your ankle or your knee or your hip, the last thing you want to do is load it and balance on it and do all kinds of tricky moves when you're on one leg if you're already feeling discomfort in a joint. You want to ease your way until the joint feels better and then do more complex stuff. So be good to your body, even if it feels like you can do it and it doesn't feel good in the moment. If you're already having a joint issue, something like this could irritate it. So listen to your body. But with your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, you're pushing your hips back. So you're trying to get that neutral pelvis. So you're not rounding. Hips go back, thigh bones go back. And then from here, push down through one of your outer legs. Back your weight up into your heels. As you lift your other leg, bend your knee, line up your knees next to each other with a bent knee. Back your weight up into the heel. Now lift that bent knee up into the air and swing it forward a little. But when you swing it forward, try not to tuck your pelvis under. Keep backing your thigh bone up as the knee comes forward. And lift up back behind you and come forward. Okay, let the knee drop down by your side, lift it out to the side and back down, lift it out to the side and back down. Now let's do a complete circle. We'll do one in each direction. Go forward, out to the side, back, and in. Go the other direction. Back, out to the side, forward, and in. And then from here, extend that leg straight back behind you and curl it in. But keep backing your thigh bone of the standing leg up, pushing through that outer hip. One more. Extend back and curl in. And then from there, put that leg down. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. It's much harder for me on this second side, which you'll notice maybe my body twist a little bit more, which is something you want to be conscious for. Maybe you do less if it's more challenging on one side. Your body likes slow adaptation. It's not about can I do it or not do it. It's more about is it good for my body to be doing this. Rotate your thigh bones open, push down through your opposite hip. Bend your knee, you're pushing your hips back so the weight's in the heels, creating that neutral pelvis. Knees line up to start, and then lift behind you, do your ribs thrust, keep the ribs up if they do, and knee comes down. Lift up into the air, knee comes down. Open out to the side, and tap in. Open out to the side, and tap in. Now let's put the circle together. Forward, out to the side, back, and in. Go the opposite direction. Back, out to the side, forward, and in. Now extend that leg long behind you. Back up your weight into the heel. Curl that leg in. Extend behind you. Curl that leg in. And then lower the foot down. Walk back. 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Outer edges of the feet straight. Relax your belly. Breathing. And then step your feet a little wider than hip distance. Start to squat your hips down. So 2 kinds of people. One, can't get down into a squat all the way. That's okay. You're going down slowly. You're seeing how far you can go and then curling your way down. Second person falls into a squat pretty easily. If that's you, you want to learn to use more muscle, so you're still going down as slowly as possible and working on your alignment. Are your knees popping forward? Are your thighs collapsing in? And go down very, very, very slowly. And then everyone, make your way onto your buttocks. Bring your feet in front of you, edges of the feet straight. Bring your hands behind you, hands a little wider than your hips, fingers point forward. Bend your elbows, hug them in towards each other. If you want more of a pull across your chest, keep your hands where they are, hop your hips a little bit further away, and bend your elbows and hug them in towards each other. Breathing. Okay, we're going to do some sitting, but neutral pelvis is so important, especially if you have discomforts going on in your body. So neutral pelvis is not this, obviously, even though this is where a lot of us sit throughout the day, myself included, but it's also just not straight up and down. You want to start creating your top of the pelvis to go so far forward and your ribs down that you have this natural curve behind your waist. But you also don't want to have to do it in a way that you have to hold yourself there. So I can almost get there, but I have to hold myself. I'm pulling my thigh bones into my pelvis. I'm activating, which is not a bad thing to do. But while you're sitting all the time, you don't want to be straining yourself. So then the solution is to get your hips higher. And I'm going to sit on the same prop I started with, a block with a rolled up towel on top of it. And I know for me, that will be high enough to get my pelvis into neutral. So bringing the soles of your feet together, your knees open to the side, turn your pelvis. But if it's not enough to get your pelvis rotated into neutral where the top is over the bottom, you'd want to come up higher. Maybe you can stack a couple bolsters, or you have a couple big couch cushions that you could stack. Or maybe you have a stool that's closer to the ground that you can sit on that allows you to rotate your pelvis into neutral. Once you rotate your pelvis and your ribs relax down, you can feel back there and see, do I have a curve behind my lower back? If you're not sure where you're looking for, trace your belly button around. This becomes crucial in the long run to make sure that you're not creating injury and stress risers in your body. So it's okay to do things with a rounded spine, but if that's always your habit and you're here and you're twisting and moving, you're putting your joints at a more vulnerable position. You want to get to a place where you can come into neutral more often. So keep working on it. And that's one of the things that if you haven't tried the chair classes, they'll really help because first of all, you're sitting on a chair, which gives your hips more motion and you can get into neutral when you're higher and train yourself and then slowly start lowering the height of what you're sitting on until you feel comfortable being on the floor and getting your pelvis into neutral. From here, ribs relax down. Let's turn your belly button to your right. So turn your belly button. And actually, let's do this with our hands behind our head. Interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom. Turn your belly button to the right and feel your waist turn, but you're keeping the pelvis in neutral, relaxing the ribs down, and the hands are behind your head so you can just gently ramp your head back into your hands. And then unwind your spine, switch the crossing of your fingers behind your head, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, head ramps back a little bit, and turn your waist to your left. And when you're truly trying to get motion of twisting motion of the spine, a neutral pelvis and a neutral rib cage gives you the most amount of motion in that area. Breathing. Even if it seems like you're moving less or twisting less, it's because you're moving in a very specific area that needs our motion. Okay, unwind. Release your arms, stretch your legs out into a wide V shape, tilt your pelvis into that neutral position, bring your left hand down as you take your right arm up and over into a side bend, flexing your ankles, toes point straight up in the air, and switch. Left arm goes up and over as right hand comes down. Pelvis tilts forward, ribs relax back, breathing. And then bring your hand down, bring your legs in front of you. So same thing with a forward fold. We can just let our spine round, and sometimes we do that just to pull on the entire back chain of the body. But if you're specifically working on not further irritating, if you have a sacral iliac joint issue or a lower back issue or a hip issue, you don't want to further irritate it by coming into a bunch of forward folds with your spine really rounded. So can you get your pelvis into neutral first? And this might be the action, just sitting up right here and then seeing over time, can the pelvis rotate a little bit more? And breathing. It's very common in yoga teacher training that they teach teachers not to take people into floor sitting poses in the beginning of class very often. And one of the reasons is because the modern body is so not used to sitting on the floor for long periods of time. I mean, think about, even if you've been practicing yoga for a long time, sure, you go into your yoga class and you sit on the floor a bunch, but how often in your regular life are you sitting on the floor or using your hips in that way? And you should be. So bolster yourself up as low as you can go, keeping your pelvis in neutral, and try to sit that way more often. You'll really help your ankles, your knees, your hips in the long run if you do it in a slow way. You don't want to take a body that hasn't been sitting on the floor and just start sitting on the floor all the time without support. Good. Roll yourself up and you're ready for your final pose, Savasana. So you can go ahead and come onto your back. You're welcome to put something under your head. Lay down on your back. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Flip your palms up by your sides. Make sure your head is bolstered enough that your chin can softly drop down to your throat, your ribs can relax down, but you're not trying to make any adjustments while you're in Savasana. You're just relaxing, becoming very present with your body, becoming very present with your breath. stay connected to your body and to your breath. Don't pick up energy that's not yours. I walked into a small town diner and sat down at the counter. I was the only customer, but the waitress ignored me. I waited while she sat in a booth reading the paper. Finally, she lowered the paper. Is there something you want? She barked from across the room. By the time I left the restaurant, I felt as crappy as the waitress appeared. It took a while to figure out what happened, what had changed my mood. Then I realized I had picked up her negative energy, feelings that had nothing to do with me. It was like someone had splashed my windshield with mud. Most of us have crabby days and an abundance of our own feelings to deal with. We don't need to let others splash their negative energy on us. We don't need to pick it up and carry it around. If someone splashes your windshield with mud while you're driving down the road, what do? You wash it off and go on your way. Learn to tell when what you're feeling is your emotions and your business. Learn to tell when someone has splashed on you. You don't have to take responsibility for what's not yours. Be done with it as quickly as possible. Thoughts are energy. Crabby thoughts and crabby emotions can be like mud. If someone splashes you, wash off your windshield, send them a blessing, and go on down the road. That's from a book called Journey to the Heart. I think it really applies to the work we do here because our bodies and our minds are very, very connected. And the more intimately you feel your body and you work on these alignments and you start to feel how your musculature moves around your joints, the more you're in tune with your own energy. And then over time, another big practice, no doubt, you start to be able to feel, oh, this isn't my energy. This is not something that I need to work on. I need to stay with my energy. So many benefits to a mindful movement practice. When you're ready, start to move. You can reach your arms overhead. You can rock your legs in and out, circle your ankles or wrists, gently roll your head side to side. One of those or all of those. Move with awareness. Feel what your body is asking for. Let your breath continue to flow. And then bend your knees and roll over onto your side and just pause there. And if you set a purpose at the start of class of what you would like to focus on as you move through this week or the rest of this week, remind yourself of what that purpose was. And with ease, press yourself up to a natural, comfortable seated position. And just notice, especially if you don't have something under your hips, how far away are you from neutral? I mean, my pelvis definitely sinks back. So it's just showing you something about your daily habits. And that's okay. That's okay to be here. It's a lifelong journey, especially in modern culture. From here, bringing our hands to heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste.